In this video, I'm going to review the Majohn P136 titanium hammer finished fountain pen. I'll go over the specs, I will do a writing sample, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this pen coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, it really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. This is the Majohn P136 titanium in the hammered finish. Now this pen looks like a copy of the Montblanc 146 Solitaire. I think they call it the Martley or Martle, something like that. This was a pen that was loaned to me by a friend who kindly let me borrow it for a review. This pen comes in a couple of different versions. This is the matte hammered finish. There's a shiny hammered finish, as well as I believe a brushed non-hammered finish. Now the brushed one I believe goes for around $75 on AliExpress, while the hammered versions go for about $140, which is pretty expensive relative to other Chinese pens I've had. I think this is probably the most expensive Chinese pen I've experienced. Maybe it's the Conklin All-American, I'm not sure. But anyway, this very much looks like a 136. Now the Martle Montblanc 146 is a solitaire version, and it's sterling silver, and it doesn't have gold trim. That pen I believe retails for around $1,600 or $1,700. Quite an expensive pen. So, you know, if you were wanting something that kind of looks like that, this would be close to that. It is very Montblanc-like. You know, I don't have a 146 anymore, but you can see the clip is very, very similar to that. And if we look at the trim, they do a really nice job with the trim on these pens. Like, I think the engraving on this looks really, really good. You know, one of the things that I don't necessarily like as much is the way that the rings kind of fit into the body aren't quite as nice as on a Montblanc. Now, I don't have that marbled one, so this I can't really evaluate, but you know, if I run my finger here and here and here, the rings are a little bit more proud. But anyway, this is quite a nice pen. I mean, it's a titanium alloy. I don't think they say exactly what type of titanium it is, but it looks pretty good. I don't know how they achieve this hammered finish. I know for like my Platinum 3776, this hammered model, this is done by hand using some kind of stone technique. I don't know the details for the Montblanc. This, when I look at this up close, you know, I can see there's some like texture into like the indentations in this. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. So I don't know if this is done by machine, if this is done by hand. Certainly they're charging 2x the price for this pen, so I would like to think this is handwork that's doing this, but I really don't know. Again, this is basically 146 shape, so it's torpedo shape. It's a nice looking pen. I don't know if I like this titanium and gold combination. I would have liked it better if this was like just a shiny silver trim, I think. But otherwise, the pen looks really quite nice. The threading is okay. I have another sort of 149 or 146-ish pen. This one doesn't look quite as much like a copy. The clip is similar, but it's more fat at the bottom, and the ring on the cap doesn't look very Montblanc-y like this one does. I do think this actually looks like the finish on the trim of this looks more premium than on this pen, but I will say the threading on this feels really, really nice. This Asfine P or J16 is what this model is called. Whereas this is, you can probably hear it, a little bit less premium feeling. I will also point out that there's a little bit of play in the blind cap here for the piston filling mechanism, which it just doesn't have like a sense of like amazing quality. However, when I look at the finish of it, it does look good, but the feel of it, it's not really a Montblanc level. Now, obviously, this is what, a tenth of the price, so I can't really complain. But you know, this Asfine J16, which I haven't even used yet, but just handling it, everything just feels tight and nice on this pen, whereas I don't quite have that feeling here. It is a threaded cap. Let's see how many turns it takes to come off. Almost 2 full turns to come off. We have these cutouts that serve as an ink window, which I think looks pretty cool. We have a nice titanium grip section here, flares out a little bit. It looks really straight. Is it straight? There's a tiny taper there. And then we have a Moonman branded nib, which does kind of have a Montblanc-y look to it. It's a nice looking nib, plastic feed. It's a number 6 size. I don't know if these are threaded or not. I think they're friction fit. Now, the pen on the cap is branded Majohn. I don't know why we're getting 2 different names here, but it's the same company. The blind cap here really bugs me. Every time I pick up this pen, I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Now, the owner of this pen does not post this pen, so I'm not going to try, but from seeing other P136 reviews, or whatever this pen's called, this pen does not post. And you wouldn't, even if it was my pen, I probably wouldn't post it, just because titanium is very easy to scratch, and I think that would just kind of spoil the look of this pen. So I wouldn't recommend posting this. Looking at about 130 millimeters. I'm not going to post it, but capped, looking at 144. And the grip section, I think it's going to be a really small taper, 11.2, which is a nice size, and 10.9. So very small taper there. It's a very comfortable pen. You know, being titanium, it's not crazy heavy, although I will say it's not super light either. 27 grams uncapped, and about 44 with the cap. So it's got a good weight to it. I don't have a lot of other titanium pens to compare it to, but you know, weight wise, it's like almost the same weight. This does feel heavier. Let's see. Yeah, so like this is 3 grams heavier for a solid sterling silver pen. So the benefit of that titanium doesn't exactly seem to pay out here. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe this is just very thin sterling silver. I don't know. But it doesn't feel super lightweight to me. But for a metal pen, I guess it's not crazy heavy. We could do some quick size comparisons. Here it is with a Pelican M400. Here it is with a celluloid. So it's a little bit smaller than the standard 3776 here. Here it is with a Montblanc 149. Standard full-size pen for sure. Very comfortable, number 6 size nib. For the writing sample, I'm going to be using a Papermind Mitsubishi bank paper notebook. These notebooks are excellent with fountain pens, and for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers, you can get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. Majohn P136 Ti. This is a fine, and this is Octopus Fluids Baroque Caviar, which is a really nice ink that I carry at the Papermind. It's sort of a purpley gray. It's really nice performer. I'll be doing a review of that shortly. Try fast writing. Do get a couple skips, but I mean, again, that's really pushing this nib. I've been using this pen for the last week, not the typical month that I normally do, but since this was a loaner, using it for a week, and it's really, I got no complaints about the performance of the nib. It writes very, very nicely. Reverse writing, very smooth, and a noticeable difference in line. So this one I think is a good candidate for that. Flexibility, I don't really push on this nib, but you can get a little bit. It's pretty much a nail. I wouldn't bother pushing on it. But overall, no complaints about the performance. You know, it's a fine nib. It writes smoothly. It writes smoothly and upside down, which is pretty impressive. Nice nib, no complaints about the performance. So what are my pros and cons for the Majohn P136 titanium hammer finished fountain pen? Well, I like that this is basically the cheapest way that I'm aware of to get a hammer finished fountain pen. It looks really, really nice. This is $140, which is double the price of the regular titanium 136, but it's way cheaper than the Montblanc that this is a copy of, which I believe is like $1,700. Now this is titanium versus sterling silver. And then there is the Platinum 3776 that I have here with a hammered finish. Also sterling silver. These are around $600 to $800, and they don't make these anymore. So that is going to become harder to get. But I think the look of this pen is pretty good. I'm not 100% sold on the gold with titanium finish. I would like this pen a lot better if it had a silver trim. But I think like the quality of the engraving on the cap band in particular looks really nice. It's, I think, pretty impressive that we're getting a pen that looks like this and feels this good for $140. The nib writes really, really well. I have no complaints about it. It seems to be finished well upside down too. Like reverse writing works well with this pen. The nib, zero complaints there. So it's a great performer. It looks really good. In terms of cons, I don't like that the piston knob is kind of loose. I also don't think the threading feels that good to me, especially when I compare it to like an Asvine the J16. That just feels a lot more well finished than this does. The trim, though, otherwise I think looks pretty good. The pen doesn't post, to my knowledge. I don't like that so much. And, you know, it really is kind of a dead ringer for a 136 or 146 by Montblanc. So I do wish that they had changed things up a little bit so it's not just so I'm a copy of a Montblanc. But again, it's an impressive pen for $140. If you like the hand hammered finish, I don't know if this is done by hand or not, but it looks really, really nice. And of course, by having that finish, you get a nice feel to it. It's an impressive pen for $140. Do you guys have this pen? Do you like this pen? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.